welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of longtime friends and internet nerds transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons, and critically fumble a lot. Thankfully, mostly in really amusing ways rather than in combat situations. Ever notice that? We don't get that many nat ones in combat situations. We remember the ones we do, but we don't get as many in combat situations. It's general perception that tends to be the problem. Previously, the Cupcake Coterie ended up sort of underground in so much as you can call being in a very, very tall mountain cliff face thing underground. They're certainly not in the open air anymore and have not been for getting on to a week now. Thanks to a few little side tracks up to and including brief sideways yoink into His Majesty of Chaos and Misrule's personal domain for tests, trials, and torture, frankly. To which, after some calming down for the most part and the whole purple worm thing, Barnabas was precipitate. Helpful to the rest of the party, but precipitate. So now we have an archfey who is more than likely capable of plane walking. He did figure that out eventually. We're all trying to make him feel a little bit better about that one. In and amongst we will try to get you home, because that's the other problem. It's like, it's not just getting Barnabas home, it's making sure that jackass can't go spreading his brand of chaos and misrule across whole bunches of other planes. Or, almost worse, grab things from one plane and dump them into another plane that they don't belong in. Because, I mean, some of the shit that I've read in some of the other books is just, yeah, that's a weapon you don't want to give your DM. Sorry, it's a look on Ethan's face. Anyway, they sorted that one out and had slightly better, shinier, news in the LSA doing her usual living life to the fullest. Fuck it, I'm going to go after what I want. Asking Remy, you want to get married? At which point Remy was like, yes, because apparently. So that's something that they're looking forward to once they deal with the blue dragon that they've actually been sent out to deal with by whatever means are necessary, appropriate, and survivable. They're kind of hoping for the survive bit here, because, you know, it's a thing. But at the same time, they don't know how old this thing is, and they still have, according to Hazel's divination, 2 days of travel in largely untraveled bits of cave area that are technically the Blue Dragon's territory before they actually get to a place where Alisae's clairvoyance can even spot this thing. And they've literally just gone through the Salt Gate after filling in an awful lot of liability forms, which Barnabas was very impressed that they used magic to deal with the triplicate issue. So, you know, he had a little bit of shiny in there. That was good for the poor sod. And now you're on the other side of the Salt Gate, which is shut behind you with a chunk. Those are some very heavy locks.
Onwards, I suppose.
Yeah, well, that was definitive.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a finality to it.
yeah, that's the thing. I kind of hope so, because what's on this side of the gate is kind of not something you want on that side of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not going to forget too much about it. I've seen doors like this before. Normally they're in places where you really, really want to keep things in or really, really want to keep things out. And believe me, there's some ancient temples up north where both technically applies. Sometimes at the same time. It's a thing. Well, that's the thing. You've got the things in there that are making sure that anything that does manage to get past the doors in doesn't live long enough to talk about it. But you also don't want those things getting out and rampaging across the countryside. Because, I don't know, would you like to be locked in a temple for several thousand years?
That would make anyone, extraordinarily cranky.
I always wonder how the hell they eat. You ever notice that?
Either there's just enough stuff falling in to be getting on with, stuff grows inside, or they don't need to.
Probably rats. It's always rats. I guess adventurer meat probably looks like a real delicacy after you've been living off rats for a generation. It just turns around to Barnabas. Sometimes understanding the logic helps. Back me up here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because, I don't know, I mean, it does actually explain a story I heard once where a wizard type, kind of shy, apparently didn't say much of anything, turned back some big abominable beastie or other by giving it handmade lunch. She just went, "Here, I cooked this." It ate it, nuzzled her face in gratitude, and went away.
Aw.
I mean, good enough food will do that.
I've seen more than one bar fight get quashed quickly by the appearance of dinner.
I think it depends on the dinner. I don't think that would have worked in the Blind Harpy.
Oh no!
I think,
Yeah,
and
well,
I think
I
any
did
of the
specify it had to be food.
I think from what you told me, the dinner would have been part of what caused the bar fight. And
Either that or ammunition at the very least.
and let's not even get started about the place that we went to that involved dog pie. Turns around to Barnabas. Not even just your average, pet dog. We're talking well-bred hunting hound.
It was a serious waste. I still can't get over that, but okay.
I'm glad I missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm equally glad I missed the largely cabbage related stew these guys had at the Blind Harpy.
Uh,
I
Yeah.
want to go back there and meet that jackass. Can we
if
do
it
that?
hasn't been
Cabbage related is definitely a good way to put it. It was more. It was. I don't even know if it was related. It was more like cabbage adjacent.
Well, no, no. Out of character. It was meat adjacent. It was mostly cabbage and turnip.
Ah, right. My bad.
I guess we should get moving, but the question is, okay, there's corridor there, but I think it opens out. It's only Alice, Clarity, and Hazel who can see beyond like 30, 40 feet with any degree of specificity, I suppose, just because the lights in this particular tunnel, while there are some, half of them are broken or just not working or missing, apparently having been chewed on by something, and those that are left are kind of dim. So you're getting some light, which means this used to be their territory once, but it's not a lot of light. So you've got Alice sort of on tiptoe going, yeah, it looks like it opens out into other tunnels a little ways ahead. And our main thing is deciding what direction we want to go in.
Do we want a bit of extra light? Well, not yet.
Probably not yet. I'm not hearing anything that suggests we're gonna need it. We're a little too close in. I think keep an ear open, and we should probably. I mean, I was gonna discuss which direction we should go before we determine a marching order, but if it makes you feel any better, I figure that our best course of action is me with Ree right behind me at the front because we're the ones who can take a hit. Hazel in the middle because if anything is coming at us from the side, she'll be able to see it, and we kind of need to surround the healer. And Clarity at the rear, so that we can make use of your dark sight that way. And if you're seeing something up ahead or to wherever, you can whisper a warning to whoever's in front of you and vanish in a shadow somewhere.
Sounds good.
And where the rest of y'all want to stand is up to you. Although Ava should probably be closer to the back just because ranged.
I'll keep by Clarity, probably.
We probably want Barnabas back there as well, though, because we probably want a heavy hitter either side. So, me, Ree, Darvin, Furseth, Hazel, Barnabas, Ava, Clarity.
That's for me.
Sounds good.
I mean, that's it. That's assuming spots where we have to go, one at a time. Although that's probably a good policy to follow anyway, because they're not going to be particularly wide, and if something does come from the sides or above or below, because that all can happen, those of us who are predominantly melee weapons and tend to flail them a lot probably want some elbow room.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not... It draws one of our scimitars. I'm not sure anybody wants one of these any place. It would hurt you slightly... It looks at first, it would hurt you slightly less, but it's still a sharp, pointy thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so elbow room for everybody, but not so far that we can't actually know where the other is. And, if push comes to absolute shove, I can provide a little bit more light just by... and lets the halo. It's not much, but it gives people in my immediate vicinity a little bit more of a... lets it die. That's never gonna stop being weird. One day I'm gonna meet another Azamar, and they're gonna think I'm a complete freak. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I trip over this stuff by accident, and some of the stuff that must be really natural to somebody who grew up knowing what they were is kind of weird to me. Anyway, so we have, thinking about where we came in, the direction we've been traveling in, because of course we don't have a map for this spot, because this isn't their vicinity at all. We have straight on, direction that might be the cliff direction, but keep in mind these things might twist around. And kind of the opposite direction, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know the general direction that we're supposed to be traveling in?
I mean, we do. We're supposed to be going kind of that way. And there is a tunnel that starts that way. But the problem is that because of the nature of these tunnels, we don't know if the one that looks like it goes directly there is on the right level. Because this whole... I mean, you've seen the cliff face between Gray's Inn and Egref. It's very, very thick, and it's very, very tall. And we don't really know what level this thing's lair is on.
I think we should just start with going straight. And if it doesn't seem like it veers off at all, at that point we're just going to be obliged to double back, won't we be?
Hazel, You ask your god for advice on a regular basis.
Yeah, fair point.
Could you please ask Pelor if he has any idea of which direction we should go instead of wandering? We don't have that much time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you need something farmed and hell, dried might help because, sun-dried things, and rummages around in her haversack and pulls out a great deal of dried pressed mango. Reaches in, takes out one strip. You might need to add some gold to that to make up the actual, I don't know, cost of it, but I got these while I was doing Froseth's Oralmus gift, because dried mango. Hands Hazel the bag. Does anyone want a bit before I devour it?
I'll try a piece.
Pull some off. It just breaks off little bits for anybody who wants to try them. It's dried mango is actually really good. It's an interesting flavor. You still get the sweet, but there's a richness to it that's almost savory, but not quite. My cat used to love dried mango, probably for that. I was like, she was sniffing around, and I was like, yeah, okay, look, I will offer you this, and maybe you will realize that it's not cat food. Nom, 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 nom. Whoa, okay. So I used to share my dried mango with Yuki every single time I had some. So
I've been
Yeah, I
buying
grew
a
up
lot
on
of it
this
from
stuff.
Target, actually. The unsweetened kind.
So yeah, but
Still good.
this stuff is a little more processed because it's a bit more like it's a fruit roll uppy kind of texture, but made with without the artificial colors, flavors, all the rest of it. So it's just they got mangoes, they dried the mangoes, they pressed the mangoes, and then they made it into flat sheets. But yes, Alice
It's more
is
like fruit leather.
yeah, it is exactly fruit leather, which is. She just wasn't necessarily going to use the terminology because she knows the memory on half of you. So yeah, she's given up her her much treasured trail snack for divination purposes, but she's keeping her bit, although she is going to eat it now because it's there.
Okay. Quick out of character reiteration. The general idea of the question is, which direction should we follow?
To reach the blue dragon's lair, probably is
Yep.
specificity is a good thing, because
Mhm.
there is a school of thought that suggests that given that at the end of one of your paths is a massive blue dragon and the other ones probably contain some other creepy shit, you probably might get an answer of right back the way you came. It's safer.
Yep. So I'm going to arrange the ritual with the appropriate amount of incense and the mango stuff. So I do still have some of the. I do still have incense left.
What you get is, in character, and none of you will recognize this, but out of character, the best way is a general internal sense of the Konami code, except instead of necessarily left, right, up, down, etc., you're getting more of a sense of right, left, down. And somewhere in the middle of the second recitation of that, you should be writing this down.
And I'm just sort of like, turn and sort of reach in like midway through that sort of ritual meditative pose or whatever, I'm just gonna like sort of reach back in either Darvin or Clarity's general direction.
Actually, technically, it's Alice who hands a bit of paper. Does anybody have writing implement for this one? Yeah.
She's got the quill I gave her.
The Clarity has all manner of writing implements, so yeah.
Dozens of them, yes. And I'm going to scribble it out as best I
Yeah.
can. And
I mean, it's not a map. It's a series of directions like you might get for if you're back in the day when you were playing a video game and you couldn't have a YouTube thing, whatever, and somebody didn't want to draw a map for a walkthrough or get a
Christ,
screenshot
those
of
things.
it. It's just
Those were the days.
right there. Yeah. Sorry, some of us are kind of old.
I remember the tail end of those.
I remember when that wasn't even a thing. I mean, come on, my first experience with video games was those big-ass machines in dépanneurs. Corner stores, 7-Elevens, whatever. I am Morelais, we have our own terminologies. I like the word dépanneur, it's neat.
It works.
Anyway, yes, so somewhere in the middle of that whole thing, Hazel. To be fair, it's mostly badly sketched arrows because it's easier than trying to write words when half of her brain is communing with Paylor. So, but you just literally get arrows, 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 arrows. Hazel knows what it means. The rest of us, not so much.
Oh god, it's GameFAQs ASCII art.
Yeah.
Oh Christ! I'm having flashbacks now. Thanks.
You do have
There are so many of those.
you do have Alice looking at this going, okay, it's more than just the one direction. That's good. I guess this must be every junction that we're going to need to deal with over the next couple of days. Cool.
Yeah.
Saved asking Paylor multiple times, I suppose.
Looks up, thank you. Really?
Every time I open my mouth, I say the wrong thing. It seems the safest.
The words thank you are not a crime.
Fair. Thanks.
You just decided you were going to be a smartass because that is what you do.
And when my brain finally returns from bolted to the divine for 15 seconds. Oh, this is going to be a time.
Well, it's not a map, but it'll do.
Yeah, I'm just glad I didn't default to halfling.
It's arrows. Do halflings draw arrows differently? I didn't think they did.
Not to my recollection, but I don't know what my muscle memory might recall on autopilot.
That's fair. That's kind of cool. And yes, it's actually a good thing that Hazel asked because counterintuitively, it is the first one that they want is the one going in the opposite direction from the one they thought they were going to be taking. Or at least that's what Hazel will say when she gets around to it and cleans up her incense a little.
Yeah, clean up the stuff with the stick, the mango that kind of just vaporized.
I can get more.
So, okay, straight on is that one, and this. We're actually going in that direction, not that one. So away from the cliffside.
For now.
We'll loop back around to it at some point.
Yeah, but look at this, and I'm just going to show Ava the diagram, the just arrow diagram. If that's like, if each one of those is an intersection.
Onward.
Yep.
Are we going sneaky, or are we just,
At the very least, I suggest we go quiet, if not actual out-and-out sneaky.
as well, it's kind of hard to be sneaky at the moment. These are not very wide passages, and there's not a lot of places to hide. And not to put too fine a point on this, some of us are kind of big, kind of bright, and kind of clanky. Or some combination of the above.
Make the best effort possible.
Let's not go singing mining songs. And keep an ear out. If we hear anything that sounds worrisome, then I figure softly talking is actually probably a good idea, because I imagine there's going to be a little side crannies and all the rest of it, and particularly for those of us in the front, I want to know you guys are still there.
Yeah.
Do you think we want my pass without a trace? Or
Not yet. Again, it's, while that hides us to a point, if something is in the tunnel in front of us or behind
Not
us,
going to be much use.
no, and it's better to save spell energy,
Indeed.
just to be on the safe side. Honestly, I'm gonna want to save that for when we're having to set up camp for the nights, for cordon of arrows, if nothing else, because trying to keep a watch is gonna be a thing, obviously, but also kind of tricky, particularly if things get tight. So, onward, quiet conversation, and keeping an ear open. Hopefully, if we do end up with someplace we don't want to get in the direction of, we can maybe find a workaround. I don't know, but I'd like to try to follow Palor's directions as much as humanly possible. Or sentiently possible. There's no good word for that. Humans have co-opted it. I don't feel bad about saying that, because now I know I'm not one.
If it makes you feel any better, I say it too. It transcends planes.
That's the thing. We were all raised by them, weren't we?
Right, but I've even heard the Dulkins use it. It's just
The what?
a species of humanoids. From where I'm from, they're not, but it doesn't seem to matter. If you're speaking a language humans speak, it seems to just get in there somehow.
It's like human genetics. But no, I want to hear about these Vwutsits.
They're called the Dulkins. Kind of very much logic over emotion. Sometimes they have 4 arms, sometimes 2. Kind of keep to themselves mostly. Really like rule. There was a lot of them in the guild I was in.
Okay.
Oh, bald. No hair whatsoever.
Okay. Darvin, how is a humanoid species with no hair weird to you? Gestures to Froseth. Although you're technically draconic, but you see what I mean. It's like,
I'm not saying it's weird. I'm just saying that.
No, not you. Darvin had that look on his face again.
Oh no, I was just wondering what would make that a thing for a group or species or what have you.
It'd be
Whatever.
species, and
Okay.
Probably tidiness. It's definitely take it from me. Depending on how long it is, even short hair requires some method of grooming, even if it's just brush it enough so that it doesn't tangle in my face. Glances over at Remy with a small smile. And then there's me. And again, Ree can attest, this requires a lot of brushing. So I guess if you're,
I was just trying to list facts. That's.
I just figure that anything that's focused on more along the lines of rules, order, and logic. If they had hair, would probably have some very specific range of hairstyles they were allowed, and that would just be a real fuss, and they probably don't want it, so...
You know, now that you mention it, I don't know if it's they don't actually have hair, or they just don't allow themselves. I've never seen one with one ever. I just assumed. But they are absolutely the type of people that would just shave it as, a species because it's messy and annoying.
Did they have eyebrows?
More of like ridges that work the same sort of way.
Then no, they probably don't have. They just don't have hair, and are probably grateful for it. They probably think hair is weird. I mean, you hear you hear about Githyanki? They don't have hair. I don't think.
The what now?
I've only heard the occasional passing story. I'm not sure they're mammals, but they live in some. I think they mostly live in some other plane. Big warrior culture kind of deal.
Okay.
Again, it's more the humanoid thing, and I don't know. They probably like living with the people if they weren't kind of, from what I've heard, kind of ornery, kind of uppity, and they probably don't like the cold much.
Okay.
And again, I don't know. This is just stuff I hear.
Fair enough.
One day, Darvin, you and I are going to go on a tour, and I'm going to make sure you hear all the stories that you need to hear to know the things that bards tend to know. That's never going to stop being weird to me. It's like you started as a bard. It was like all you wanted to do, and I started life as a barbarian, but apparently I was building towards bard and I didn't even know it.
I mean, to be fair, I was also a lot more sheltered than I thought I was. So
it's a much bigger world than you'd think.
Yeah, at the same time, it's also in some ways a lot smaller.
How so?
Just we were looking for certain people, and 9 times out of 10 we seem to stumble upon them. Or people that know people that know them. It's just,
I've heard that's the thing though. I've heard a certain conversation. I think you were the one who relayed to me, wherein Rhea was basically going, this is all down to the gods trying to help us out on our quest thing. I believe the words you used were, "We're on a quest. These things go smoothly for a reason."
True enough. Yeah, the 1 in a million chance happening more often than not. Yes.
Yes, 1 in a million chance happening 9 times out of 10.
Something like that. Yes.
It's funnier when you use the actual numbers. It sets off the dichotomy better.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, thank you. That's a good point.
And the rest of you are just sort of going, yeah, she really is teaching him how to bard.
I am perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, no one flag it up to Alice. She's just going to think it's really fucking weird.
Meanwhile, Darwin's just it's an understandable extension after considering, we started with tools and thieves' tools, and now we're on to barding. So okay.
Yes, but she knew how to use thieves' tools before. You knew how to bard before she even went in that direction. It just turned out to be a logical extension of some of her other core talents, and again, it's never going to stop being weird. So yes, travel continues. We're not doing stealth rolls at the moment. Is there anything anybody wants to have conversations about, up to and including, if I recall correctly, Hazel had been doing some of her research and had tripped over a portion of ceremony type things that she might have wanted to flag up to Furseth. That bit at the end of that document you showed me?
I'm going to Seidel and Froseth's direction at some point over
Yeah.
the course of this.
I mean, he's more or less in front of you if we set up the way I thought we did.
Mm-hmm. So just going to slightly accelerate, though not going to do the whole goes fast thing for obvious reasons.
Yeah, he's only a few feet ahead of you, so yeah. I don't think you need to use the boots of haste for like 3 feet.
Yep.
So yes, Broseth feels a half elf in his personal space.
Yes.
So I was I've been digging through marriage rights and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I was going through blessings and stuff, and I found one that I think might fit, but I just want to be sure that, I guess, even LSA would kind of want things to be as broad across the spectrum as possible. Every little faith and the like represented. I was just kind of wondering how much we could fit the elements into this, and I'm gonna just show him the note brick that has been happening as a result of me scribbling these out for my own purposes with borrowed paper.
There is a bit that she's kind of pointing at on the move that is invoking the blessings of all 4 of the elements. And you actually kind of recognize this one as a variation on a blessing to a traveler, the kind of thing you got given before you went out into the wider world.
Okay. Yeah, there's so he points out the section mentioned there, and it's like, yeah, this actually looks very similar to something I received before going out on my own. So I'd be able to fit that there.
Huh.
Yeah, your elders did actually do the whole elemental affinity and attunement thing, and did actually generate a little bit of each when the words were spoken, just as a actually flagging it up and showing the element meet person being blessed meet element, go forth, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I can help there.
That's perfect. Thank you. Just kind of vibrate and plays before
Pat,
falling
pat,
back.
pat.
Could everybody make me a perception check, please, sometime after all this? Because those of you without
right.
those of you without dark vision it will require it to be at disadvantage.
I'll re-roll.
Oh, clarity! Oh, honey!
Nat 1.
This is across the board for everybody. Just
Well, no.
DM, just so
Basic. You have dark sight.
no, but I mean, like, we're all doing perception checks.
You're
yeah?
all doing perception checks. Yes.
Okay.
And see what I mean about it's usually perception checks where y'all fuck up?
You jinxed me.
I didn't jinx you. Roll20 has jinxed you all a long time ago.
Some kind of sorceress nonsense.
Although Froseth actually got better when he had to roll a disadvantage.
Wow.
Yeah, let's see, Barnabas, Froseth, And so it's half of you, and not not all of the three with dark vision either. Clarity's more listening and kind of being interested in what the in Hazel's brick text wedding vows thing, and some of the other little bits of conversation that are happening, but Barnabas, Froseth, Hazel, and Alice in particular is kind of stopping, looking sort of at the walls and looking up, and those of you who have the perception to have noticed this are seeing there are some moderately heavy claw marks scored into the stone. Froseth and Barnabas actually makes a certain amount of sense because most of them are on the ceiling. The ceiling is kind of low for particularly the ones who are above 6.5 feet. Yeah, I mean, Froseth and Barnabas can actually reach up and touch the ceiling. Fuck.
What?
Uh-oh, what's wrong?
Huh?
This is cloaker territory, guys.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
I pull out my sword. I don't light it yet, but I pull it out to have to hand.
I don't think they're necessarily here right here, right yet. I'm just going to suggest we keep an eye on the shadows and be absolute. I mean, your cordon of arrows is now an absolute necessity.
Did we put up some more lights while we're going?
Wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I mean, I don't know what else is here. We're now striking a balance between. I mean, having light right in front of them will discourage them, yes, or at least it'll make us harder for them to hit. But if we light up now, these and anything else within any kind of visible radius will know we're here.
Beacon.
We'll wait then.
The other issue is I don't know how smart these things are.
Yep.
It's not just them knowing when to or when to not attack us. Think about what's territory this is. From what I remember, it sounds like they had a language. Cloakers, they have a language. Or they can speak a language. And it might have been I think it might have been Undercommon, but I'm not sure. If it's something the dragon can speak. I don't want to call too much attention to ourselves. Not unless we have to.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when we have to bunk down, we're cordoning the place.
We're cordoning the place. And I'll have to see what else I can do here. I mean, I have warding glyph, but
I can make a space.
we're kind of gonna want to keep the tent as the thing.
Right. That's that's why I was hesitant to suggest it. But
I think
in the event-
it's a good one to if we wind up getting jumped by something we can't deal with, it's good to have because then we can get under it and patch up if we have to. I mean, if you stay in it, it doesn't go anywhere. If as I seem to remember, that's what the spell does.
Yeah.
So particularly those of us who do ranged or don't have to have quite as free run of the battlefield. Duck out, take a shot, duck back in.
Yep.
And if someone gets too badly brutalized, we get them back in there, we patch them up, and nobody can get to them. No more hitting. So definitely a good thing to have on hand, but doesn't necessarily just have to be as a tent.
Yeah.
Outside the box.
Oh yeah. I'm just throwing out what we have. That's all.
I know. I appreciate it. It's that's more of a reminder, I guess, because
Now I understand. Gotcha. Okay.
I figure if I let you in on the logic that I'm taking, in terms of that, you'll be able to apply a similar thing to other
Some of the other
bits
stuff.
and
Yeah,
pieces,
gotcha.
and that lets you get a bit more versatility in your magic.
Thank you.
Anybody remember when I just hit things?
Yeah, but that's long behind.
Yeah, it's still weird. Yeah, by this point, you've been traveling for a fair few hours, really. And around about the time when rumbling tummy suggested it might be about a meal break, Alice kind of puts up a hand and... What's in front of you is, frankly, a chasm. There's a thin, maybe 3 foot wide path of rock to the tunnel on the other side. It's not very thick. And it, from what little you can tell, particularly those of you who don't have dark vision, it's a long way down. It's also a long way up.
And here I thought we wouldn't be encountering much in the way of heights in here, but no, of course.
We're in a mountain that's a very, very tall chunk of rock. We don't know how far up we are anymore.
Yeah. I was just really hoping we wouldn't be encountering anything resembling that kind of a drop.
What do you mean drop? I can't see it.
Yeah, that's just, Alice kind of very gently reaches back, takes Ava by the shoulders, nudges her forward just enough to be able to see what it is they're looking at, because she's having to look around people, and she's not the tallest of you, so it really is just that drop.
Oh god. That doesn't look very solid.
No, but we haven't got a whole lot of choice here.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna make a suggestion here, because we still have to cross it. And if anybody has any issue with it, let me know now. I'm gonna go first, because if it's really, really, really unstable, I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Barnabas next, because if it's gonna collapse under anybody's weight, it's gonna be his.
And I can get out of the way if I have to.
Yep.
Right, with your duplicate.
Yep. I mean, that might weaken the bridge, but no, I'm not even gonna say it. Basically, if it breaks under anybody else, I'll be able to catch them. But I'd rather not burn that if I don't have to. And I don't know what's in those directions. It points to either side, because there's a lot of space that way, too. It's just you kind of got to this spot where there's this just big chunk of nothing, apart from this little skinny bit of rock. Okay. Wish me luck.
Here we go.
Yeah, there's some distressing crumbling sounds, and she's not very heavy. And there's a certain amount of whoop. The balance Just because, trying to walk across basically a 3-foot wide beam it's not as bad as it could be, but there's a couple of spaces where, planting a foot loses about a third of the width in that spot. Whoa! Crap. But she manages, just about, to get to the other side of this thing without having, without the whole thing collapsing. And gives a...
Okay, Barnabas, you're up.
Make me a dex check, please.
No problem.
Little bit of a problem.
That's a 7.
That dropped in when I was trying to just minimize it on my screen.
I read the 7. It's okay. Yeah.
I appreciate the effort.
Barnabas's hooves managed to remove. I mean, the whole thing doesn't collapse, and he doesn't quite fall. Although there's a couple of moments there that really are just but by the time he's got across to the other side, there's foot-wide sections of that bridge that are either narrowed or entirely missing. But you're on the other side. Okay.
So what's the distance on the bridge? Like, how long is it?
About 30 feet.
So the question I don't know about what would happen is what happens if Barnabas grabs somebody and then does the teleport thing? Does the person go with or not?
No.
Okay. That would have made it real easy.
Yeah, that's why you're not allowed to.
Yeah, you don't get a free dimension door. Only one person here has a dimension door.
No, I'll say to confusion.
Remy has a dimension door.
Well, Remy has it once per day, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, that's worrisome. To be fair, while Froseth is large, Remy has the most armor. Does she want to play it safe, or does she want to at least give the bridge a try? Because she has other ways than Dimension Door.
Yeah, Remy is kind of not looking to the others, knowing that she can Misty Step if someone else collapses the bridge.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so... I mean, seriously, who's next? I imagine given that if Remy is waiting to go last, it probably would be Froseth.
So, question: this narrow bridge, it goes a ways down from the side, right?
In some places, yes. But
some places.
That's the thing. It's not like one. It's not necessarily one long bridge, and honestly, given your lack of dark vision, you can't really tell exactly what makes it. But there's got to be some other supports going down, or else some of the bits that are missing chunks on both sides wouldn't still be standing. But you can't necessarily see how far that goes, how solid they are.
Okay. Probably best just to try to cross normal.
Make me a dex check.
Should
Okay,
we
just-
have some light for the people who can't see?
I wouldn't say no to that.
You have a light source.
Yeah, I know.
You don't have to.
I'm just...
Again, this is wonderful. From actually, it'd be more Darvin because he remembers Alice's story very well. This would be ideal cloaker habitat.
So sort of light would be a good idea.
That or you're calling attention to the people without the light on the other side.
Nat
Yeah.
20. So.
First,
That
Go.
kills the dex check. Surprise, surprise.
yeah, Furseth is just he did that's the thing. He's looking at this as much like His Majesty's stupid challenge as anything else. So it really is. By comparison, this nothing. Boink, 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 boink. And Alice is just...
Pity hoppity, he bounced through someone's property without even touching it.
Alice is over there. She's not hearing this.
Glad for that.
Yeah, be glad.
I guess I'm going next.
Hazel, dex check.
I'm so tempted to use the boots, but I'm consciously gonna go nope. That is 12.
Yeah, okay, because the bridge is now in something of a shape. Hazel hits one of the weaker, almost entirely separate parts of the bridge. Her foot hits wrong, and something crumbles. Alice, with her night vision, is watching all this, and she's not doing what you'd expect. She just reaches out, and she doesn't say it loud enough for Darvin to hear her, but for Barnabas and Froseth on the other side, she says something in Celestial. Hazel, make me a dex save with advantage. Not with an inspiration die, with advantage.
Yep, I put it on and boop.
That should not have worked. You reached as you were falling for the next more stable bit of thing. That should not have worked. But you managed to get hands on and pull yourself back up. And Alice is kind of looking at her hand like, what the fuck did I just do?
Clarity's holding on to her braid, like, with white knuckles and going...
Yeah, to be fair, Clarity's the one who saw Alice kind of reach out, mouth words, and given your intelligence and arcana, she did something. Actually, make me an arcana check.
Sure. 13? What the heck?
That's a nat one! She's too fucking panicked. She's like, she knows Alice did...
2 in a row! I'm pretty sure you jinxed me.
If that had been the case, I would have jinxed everybody, and other people are doing fine.
I was expecting me to plummet.
Incidentally, you have Cat's grace for the next little while, unless she has to shift it to somebody else, which she might, because y'all are kind of having some issues.
Fucking dice rolls.
Yeah, although in all fairness, Hazel probably is aware that was not Paylor. It was Paylor adjacent. And yeah,
How
yeah.
much wigging out would I be doing by contrast to being able to figure this out.
I'm gonna roll the hand of fate because I'm not trusting roll 20 on this bullshit anymore. No, you're completely wigging out.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Alisei just does sort of reach out a hand and helps pull you back the rest of the way. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Barnabas, she needs really comforting hugs. I imagine you'd give really comforting hugs.
I can do that. Whoa.
It's better.
I'm latching onto him like a goddamn limpet.
Actually, Darvin, you make me an Arcana check. Out of everybody else, you're the only one who'd necessarily recognize that. Nope. Yeah. Well, no. Actually, you need to roll again because
let me do that normal.
I'll be kind because they were so.
Nat 20.
It takes you a minute. Once you see that Hazel, I mean, while you're watching it, you're just don't care Hazel thing, but when you see her being hugged by Barnabas, it's like, wait a minute. Alisei did a thing. If I didn't know any better, I'd think that was that whole enhancement of ability thing, because he's seen Alisei do that before to Hazel with Dex, in point of fact.
Yep.
But it couldn't necessarily be, because you need to be touching them. Except, you do know that some types of magic user can make magic do things it isn't supposed to do. So while Clarity is like, I want to be, I don't care if it's crumbling, I want to be over there to be hugging Hazel now. And Darvin is just going, oh. I have to ask about that later. It's funnily enough distracting him from the, okay, that's terrifying if I don't use Dimension Door.
Oh, yeah. But also, okay, on the one hand, I need to ask her about that. On the other hand, using that ahead of time is, I should have thought of that sooner. And looking over it, Ava.
Huh?
Come here a second. I think it might be able to help out getting this done, if you don't mind. We'll probably wind up doing it for both of you, actually. One at a time, though.
Yeah, and Alisei is sort of going, I think if somebody stands right up to the edge, I might be able to shift that. I want to test it anyway.
Okay. Who's next?
I'll do Ava's, you do Clarity's.
Gotcha. So Ava next.
Okay.
So Ava, step.
And she
Close.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can have like, you can be close by so you can grab her if anything goes wrong. So that's probably comforting to Ava, as Alisei kind of reaches out and says that again. She's not worried about Remy. She knows Remy has Misty Step. That's a thing. And yeah, your dex check will be an advantage.
Okay. Go. 12.
It's better than you should be doing, but you've knocked an awful lot of that bridge down. I mean, there's maybe a couple of bits still standing by the time you're done, and the only reason that you have not fallen is because you were basically looking straight ahead, straight out, barreled out, run, and all your momentum was forward. But at the same time, it was that panic that basically destroyed even the bonuses to Dex that you could actually feel magically imbuing you. So you get there, because you felt yourself teeter a few times, but it's I'm not looking, and then you look back and you see what you did to the bridge. I know you want to practice the thing, but Darvin, Dimension Door can take 2, right?
Out of character,
Yes.
can it? It can?
Yes.
Okay.
It's one other person of medium size or lower.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. You're right. And it's the save energy anyway. Clarity. Get close. Squish.
Sure.
And it's like you said, it was
and-
like it was like 60 feet. So he just kind of reaches out like he's opening a doorknob and into the air, and you see the other side, and we step forward and doink.
And once everybody's on the other side, I'm assuming Remy will Misty Step to join you.
Yep.
When Remy gets to the other side, Alice is just kind of, I don't think I can do that again today, but okay, that spell's not supposed to work like that. Or at least that's not what you're telling me, but
Right.
I need-
By the way.
I needed it to, so I kind of bent it.
I mean,
I'm tempting fate here, but now that you have retrieved hugging duties from Barnabas, Clarity, make me an Arcana check.
26.
Yeah, sorcerers can do that. Sorcerers can take magic and kind of make it bend. You remember that Petunia actually made that spell, which was supposed to only work for one person, work on 2 people. So maybe that one of the things they can do is bend it to work from farther away.
Does Clarity know whether Alice is sorcerer?
She knows that Alice, she knows for a fact that Alice is not a sorcerer, although she has heard and read about people of that kind of background, some kind of divine spark in the soul. She knows Darvin, and while Darvin's not as much gifted in that way, he's never going to be able to bend magic to his will. The more, she knows that similar kinds of things, sorcerers who are born to dragons, highly powerful fey entities, or just have this entire bit of random in them, they can do what you've read being called meta magic. But as far as you're aware, that's not something Alice has ever trained on. But it might have something to do with the fact that she is quite literally directly descended from a divine being.
I've heard of this happening with sorcerers, but you're not a sorcerer. It might be because of your divine bloodline. That's probably it. Yeah, probably there's some meta magic that can be done. It's going to be part of your inherent abilities, but I mean that's going to need some further study.
Well, yeah, because it's only recently that I had magic at all. I mean, apart from some of the basic inherent stuff, I didn't even figure out I could cast light until recently. The wings I figured out pretty early, but I don't know if that's magic or just... And I guess it kind of is, but kind of isn't. I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to think about this, or see what else I can maybe do, but I do know I can't do it very much. It's tiring and it kind of hurts, but it needed to happen, or else Hazel.
Clarity gives Alice a hug.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your weirdness.
And Alice just burst out laughing. Of course, for Darvin in particular, this is just such a great picture, because it really is just these things that half the world thinks are just diametric opposites, and there they are hugging. Well, if it hadn't been that, it would have been the wings, but I needed it to be fast because I don't know. I mean, it must be pretty damn deep if I can't see the bottom. And you can't see the bottom either, can you?
No.
No. Well, we're getting on to about a meal point, so why don't we find someplace that's a little bit away from cave where all kinds of things might be nesting among the stalactites.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good to me.
I seem to remember you guys talking about ropers at one point. Yeah, I remember you didn't like those very much.
Things from the ceiling, tentacles, too many tentacles, and it kept trying to eat people.
Hazel?
I'm gonna very intently search the campsite first.
Well, we haven't quite got to a campsite yet. We will get there right after. Alice kind of turns around to Hazel and go, Hazel, speaking as someone who grew up on the streets of a much larger city than you have ever truly known, and the winter wastes of Aembach, and the desert wastes around Alzor High, assume when you're out that there's something out there that wants to eat you. But know that there are an awful lot of people who will turn it into mince for trying.
Yeah. Yep. Aware. Just still.
And just sort of that grabs Hazel, makes her not be looking at the back at the drop anymore, and hug. I'm not letting go until I know you're breathing halfway normally.
Still hyperventilating, and eventually slowing down.
And pulls out the emergency apple cranberry sweets. This is why I got those. And sticks it in Hazel's mouth.
Oh.
And then looks at Clarity. You're welcome for that too. And starts moving. And you travel another 5 minutes until you find it's not a particularly hugely wide spot in the place, but it's enough where you're probably not setting up a tent because you're really only lunching, but if you wanted to cook, it's enough to set up a smallish fire, or just enough to sit down for a little bit. And I'm assuming that Remy wants to make that perception check now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except, are you going to switch on some lights first? Because that...
Yeah, on there. In their corner they're making.
I will give you this because I'm very, very kind, and it makes up for some of the unfortunateness that Roll20 has given Clarity thus far. Although I am going to say, much to Remy's minor embarrassment, that she's not the one that casts light. She doesn't think of it, and sees almost nothing until Alice casts light on Remy's shield. And leans over. That's me burning it for the day. Appreciate it. Kisses her on the cheek and moves back to start setting up lunch. But no, you have found is that Darvin doing that in character? Good. Because she tried very hard for that not to be seen. Because while Alice will tease Remy, she doesn't want to embarrass Remy.
That's why that was out of character. Sorry.
Yes, it's just you go on very distinct facial journeys. I'm just
Trying
saying.
to tone those down just a little. Sorry.
It's never gonna work. I understand that. But yeah, once she actually has a light on, and it seems safe enough because even looking down this is one of your branch off points, the one that Hazel has a quasi map for. So there's about 3 different branch off points, including the one you just. So it's kind of one's in one direction, one's in the other direction, and one's back the way you came, which is not necessarily going to be all that fun to try to get back through. That's probably something Remy's thinking about as she's looking back down the corridor y'all just went through. But in either case, you're in a moderately safe space, which you're not seeing or hearing anything at the moment anyway. Which probably means that if something was going to be coming, it wouldn't be able to sneak up on you.
Okay.
And Alisai's kind of looking up from her haversack going, so we good?
Yep.
Okay, I think everybody needs lunch chill. I'm used to doing this kind of thing in colder climes, but let's put together some trail sandwiches, shall we? And it's actually fairly similar to what Barnabas and Remy have done in the field. It really is just, dried meat, enough sauces to kind of rehydrate it a bit. And fairly solid bread, but again, once it's soaked up by basically it's one of those things where ketchup or whatever equivalent Alisai carries around kind of saves most of this stuff from being too hideous. And I found this stuff in one of the Up and Under shops. Seems to be a variety of nuts, some bits of dried fruit, largely raisins, and what I think are chunks of chocolate.
Ooh.
They called it Gorp. It apparently apparently stands for good old raisins and peanuts.
Okay, that makes slightly more sense.
Except there's more than just raisins and peanuts in this. But whatever. It sounded tasty. It's got enough protein to keep us going. Whatever. And if anybody else wants to bring anything else to this makeshift table, by all means. We're saving the infinite bread basket for dinner. So yeah,
I'm going to, for the sake of it, if I have any of these left, produce the spicy mushrooms again.
You do have, unless you've been snacking on them, which I don't think so. You do have plenty of these spicy mushrooms because it's a peanuts at the circus size bag.
So yeah, I probably have at least 2/3 still remaining because if they were for meal breaks.
Yeah.
They were attached to meal breaks.
I'll say, it's like, may I?
Go nuts.
Takes a small handful and sprinkles it onto her sandwich.
Anyone else? And I'm just holding this out.
Yeah, you've had them, you know what to expect. But Alisai is, it's probably given Hazel quite the idea for her own sandwich. Just sprinkle, munch.
Yup.
Is anyone else going to even attempt one?
Mushroom.
No, I know you did because I saw you read. That's why I was saying you don't have to make the Constitution save.
Okay.
You know what to expect, and you succeeded quite well at the last one.
I suppose if there's ever a time.
At which point, Alisai actually sees Darvin looking indecisive and goes, "It's not going to kill you, and you only live once, and I do have okay, it's not milky drink, but it's kind of like solidified yogurt. Not yogurt that's gone bad, but like yogurt in the form of it digs out. It's almost like white chocolate, but the color is different. and there seems to be bits of blueberry in it. It is a yogurt bar, so if you need... I've got some for other people if you want for dessert, so... Yes, if you're trying one of the mushrooms, you do need to make me a Constitution saving throw at disadvantage because your palate is not as refined as some of these people.
Okay.
I mean, Barnabas weirdly would not have to make it at disadvantage because he's tried some of the spicier bits before.
Well, either way, it's a 7.
You need the yogurt thing in your face right now, and then just all the water. Basically, your face goes... Yes, you make the Constitution save, but you do not make it at disadvantage. While you're rolling that, basically, Darvin...
Again, I did it wrong, because I'm a dink.
And your con save is so much better than your con check, too. And look at the modifiers.
That's to a 3.
Well, welcome to my life.
You do need one of the yogurt bars, but not as badly as because when you see Darvin, just as you're popping it into his mouth and his face, it spreads up because of, and you're muted, but it's just as well because you always do this. I'm supposed to be describing what happens here. You do this when you're wounded too, so this is now a great time to flag that up. Basically, the flush spreads from up his neck. His eyes go very, very wide, and it's just... And you know that pursed lip, I'm not sure I can swallow this, but I can't really spit it out either. I don't think that's going to help. I kind of have to swallow it, but... And Alice just has canteen of water in one hand, yogurt bar in the other, swallow it, yogurt, then water.
So he kind of sits there for a few moments and then just and swallows it and then just grabs the bar and clunk.
And hands him the canteen as she rummages one for Barnabas, who's not struggling quite like that, but is... Okay, that's a bit much. That's a bit much. Maybe I should have had it in the sandwich. Trying new things is awesome, though. I mean, to be fair to Darvin and to Barnabas, excuse me, it was actually really tasty right up until the capsaicin hit those taste buds in the spot where the taste buds react to spicy. And went, what the fuck did you just give me? So very tasty, but you really got to get used to the burn. This is why you work up to this stuff slowly. And hey, Darvin, remember how Hazel said that wasn't the spiciest they do? Just
he's got this look at his face like, yeah.
Just pats him on the...
We have to.
Ava and Alice each patting him on a shoulder. Yeah, just. But thank you for not hollering. Hollering in pain is probably a bad thing to do here. So.
I'm wise enough not to do that. Been trying to sleep mostly quiet.
You do know high-pitched sounds carry better than low-pitched ones, right?
Sorry.
You are such a dork. So
trying to breathe is definitely interesting right now.
Well, it's very much cleared his sinuses. I mean, it's one of those eyes and nose are now running. So it's like, thankfully, I am the son of a tailor. I carry a handkerchief with me at all times.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's that. You know that thing where your sinuses just completely empty out to the point where it's almost painful.
I can breathe through time.
And on that note, since we're at a little past the halfway mark, we will return in 5 or so minutes and deal with some of the rest of the journey. currently at a lunchtime campsite with Darvin only just now getting rid of the... Because you know that lasts for a while. And with Hazel's mushrooms in particular, that lasts for a while. Barnabas gets over it fairly quickly, so does Clarity, but Darvin is going to be just breathing through his mouth, trying to, even though that never works. Okay, and once lunch is packed away. Excuse me. Okay, Hazel, which way now?
I consult the diagram of madness.
Yeah, and you can point to the approximate space that you're supposed to be going, because you've more or less figured out that it's your arrow is from where you come into the space.
Yeah, so I walk back over to where we came in, glance around. Satve!
Remember to hush just a little? Please? Thank you. Yes, you are frankly kind of grateful that Butterscotch and Sapphire can't actually make any noises, because you do occasionally have Butterscotch kind of squirming out of the bag, just...
Squish, 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 squish.
During lunch, he actually tried to scramble out of the bag to go gambling around the place, and probably Ava had to spend a good 5 minutes after she's like, okay, have a little walk around. No, don't go that way, don't go that way. Sapphire is perfectly happy to just curl up on Clarity's shoulder when out of the bag. Purr, 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 but, well, not really purr, 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 but you can almost feel the vibration instead of actually hearing the Harley-Davidson motorcycle noise. But you do just feel this little vibration.
Happy kitty.
But and Flitty had a minor issue of looking around and just sort of going, "Are there meats that don't have all the spices?" I don't speak Draconic.
Oh,
I think you wanted some
Non-spicy meat.
that spice.
Oh, yeah, no, the meat itself isn't spicy. It's just all the sauce I put it in, so you probably should not have my sandwich. Here. Jerky. Nope. Nope. It just falls backwards back into the bag. Sorry about the squidgy. Nope. And you look into the bag and you just sort of see him lying on his back, holding his bit of jerky, and nope.
That way cats curl around some things.
Yeah. Or sea otters.
Oh my god, that is adorable.
Take a small cut of meat and give it to my coin dragon.
Oh, right.
Clings to the coin. And okay, that thing's adorable.
I've acquired a new pet, but I'm not sure what to do with him.
Just
Love him and squeeze him and name him George? I don't know.
George is a pretty good name. Maybe I'll think about it.
It was mostly sarcasm, but hey, if you haven't got anything better, we've got the cutesiest names. Why can't we have a George? It's actually unusual for this group. Sometimes something is so banal in a group of really interesting things that the banal suddenly is elevated to interesting.
yeah.
it's like an all-powerful wizard named Tim.
Oh, you heard that one too, huh? and he's like, no, actually, I haven't. But there really is one. Ah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's wow.
There's a spot way up north called the Ivory Spire. I think it actually is ivory. I think it may be it seems to be made of a straightened out tusk. A straightened out tusk. And yeah, it's tall. It's tall. And
I don't think I want to know what the thing that came out of. Holy
I
jeez.
was gonna say what tusk.
That, oh, ew.
before
Wow.
dire mammoths, there were other things bigger than dire mammoths.
Oh boy.
Oh gods.
Before there were small squishy humanoids, there were way bigger things. It's just that there wasn't enough anything in the world to keep them going anymore, so we smaller, squishier things actually had a survival advantage. Anyway, at the top of this mammoth tusk tower is apparently a very, very, very old wizard named Tim. Beware the bunnies. He has man-eating bunnies.
Why does he have man-eating bunnies?
Because
I mean,
because he wants man-eating bunnies.
yeah, if you're that powerful, don't
That's-
ask.
That's fair. That sounds fair.
I bet you wish you'd been a
I like his
man-eating bunny.
style.
Yeah, it would have been interesting. Probably better that it wasn't.
Yeah, probably. I seem to recall you bit Aaron at least once. Not to say you didn't
I think
deserve it.
everyone tried to bite him at least once.
Excuse me, I only bite one person in this party. Thank you very much.
Hmm.
I
And-
don't think I ever bit him. Thank you.
And honestly, I think if Froseth was biting anybody, we'd all know it. We'd still be wearing the scars to this day. Of course, everyone is looking at Froseth and he's like,
glancing over just to see, like, oh, good. He is taking that to the humor intended. Okay.
and barring anything else, the travel continues. And I would like you all to make me perception checks. Again, those of you who cannot see in the dark have disadvantage.
7.
Oh.
22.
Natural one.
No.
the three.
Oh, yeah.
14.
And I had a 16 too.
I know,
7.
but it's
Got
dark.
22, so, you know, hey.
Oh,
Yeah, you're. Let's see.
A lot of 7s this time.
I was just thinking
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, Clarity is still seeing the. Now she's seeing, because she didn't the last time. Still seeing the scratches on the walls. And they seem to be up on the ceiling as well, but they also don't seem to be overly recent. It's Hazel who, thinking whatever her thinks are at this point, is looking down. And while it's kind of hard to make out because of so many people walking ahead of her, she's seeing what appear to be some kind of small footprint. 3-toed, clawed kind of foot. It's almost like Froseth's, but smaller.
Hold up. Everybody stop.
What?
And
What?
Alice sort of crouches down and, oh yeah,
You see it too?
uh-huh. Now that you flagged it up, yeah.
Are those about the size of the things that you ran into in...
No, cloakers don't tend to be on the ground. That's something else.
No. I mean, you said you ran into
Kobolds.
something when we were back in town. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that I was about to say, that's kobold.
Yeah, I figured it looks like Froset's feet, but small.
And since we're still seeing them, it's probably pretty recent. Well, good news is that Cloaker. Good news is we won't have to deal with both, because I don't think anyway, unless they've tamed Cloakers, which would be hard. They're chaotic creepies. But either the Cloakers ate the kobolds, or if there are enough kobolds, the kobolds killed them. So keep an eye out for corpses and traps.
I have a thing for that. I should be able to ping it every once in a while.
Yeah, but let's save it until we think there are. Thankfully, there's a few of us who can actually disarm things if they're disarmable. Because not all traps are.
Do we need to shift order at all so people can look for traps?
I can look for traps, and I'm at the head of the line.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I mean, I may ask for Clarity's help if I spot anything that looks iffy. And obviously, you're probably a bit more skilled at that than I am, but at the same time, if either of us is going to accidentally trigger something because we didn't see it, better the one that can take more of a hit. This is not a disparagement of your skills. This is, I want to save your skills and not get you one-shotted, if you see what I mean.
Just a point of, I don't know, clarification or whatever. Clarity, because of her feet, takes half damage from traps.
Yes, Alice doesn't know that. And to be fair, I don't. To be fair, I don't think that Clarity's ever tested it out. And again, in all fairness, even with that, if you look at the disparity between your hit points, she's going to try to protect you as much as possible. Again, this is not a skill disparagement. This is I want you safe because we're going to need you at top capacity when we do need you.
Okay, just wanted to flag that up.
Gotcha. Good to know if it comes to a trap that cannot be disarmed. So, because like I say, those exist.
We like our casters unsquished.
She's not just a caster. We like our less armored, less HP laden individuals who don't quite have evasion yet unsquish. And onward we go. I think it's probably about time we okay. There we go. Yeah, so you actually no. Yeah, because you would have come in from about there. I wish Fog of War was a little less square-shaped. And yeah, Hazel would have guided you down into kind of this area here.
I'm still on the previous map.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Poink. Yeah, so you guys started about here. And you currently moved down to about there. And honestly, according to Hazel's maps, some of those are a bit weird because you actually have a choice. Either way will take you where you want to go. But you've got... Well, you've got 3 options that take you in the direction that you want to be going. There's that corridor, and further on, that corridor. They will all eventually lead to the same place, according to Hazel's bit, and it didn't give any particular guidance on which one you should take.
We still need to make sure we can stop before diving face first and do it for reasons.
Anybody see any tracks or hear anything? Or...
More perception checks from y'all.
I'm going to, after I make my check...
7.
If I focus on the listening...
And honestly, I'm not going to make you roll disadvantage because you should have, but I'm not going to make you because that was crap.
Yeah.
5.
That's if I focus on listening, do I still have to...
Yes. Because it's not that easy.
True.
And also, because you're in a cave formation, there's echoes to be concerned with. And given... Yeah, it's Alice A. who's sort of going, okay, now on one level, I'm seeing footprints, and she points here, and here, but I don't like the look of them. They're too deliberate. They're too deep. That means somebody wants us to follow them.
As in a trap.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This spot, on the other hand, doesn't look like it's been traveled all that much. Which probably means it has its own dangers, but at least they're not necessarily traps or ambush points.
They could also just well be very old set traps that just get reactivated from some other location.
And I'm not saying we don't be careful. Like I say, it's going to be dangerous whichever way we go, but I don't want to go in the direction they want us to go in.
Agreed. Yeah. Is sort of explaining my addendum to why that's probably better either way, because if it's just traps, we can deal with just traps.
Yeah, I'm not so worried about just traps. I'm a little bit more worried about why they didn't set traps there too.
Yeah, that's strange.
I have a feeling that we might encounter a thing in that general direction. But honestly, I prefer something we can all hit.
Definitely that one.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, let's go. And as you travel down this particular bit of corridor, you do notice that, yeah, it seems to be curving back around in that general direction. And by the time you make it into that general space, you find a fairly wide spot that seems to lead back up in the direction you came, so you clearly skipped something. And that would be surprise attack round on the person at the head of the line. That's +7 to hit. That's... What's her DC? AC, rather. Oh, and she literally just got the shiny bracers that put her AC just high enough to avoid the tentacles that come flinging out of one of the things that you can now identify as a roper.
No.
Holy fucking... And let me actually set up the... because I know I have... Dungeon Master Essentials... Spider... Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Oh, come on. Caverns. That might help. I have lizard men. I have crocodiles. No.
If I may, it might be possible to search.
But I don't know if they've called it that is the problem.
Yeah.
Their naming conventions haven't exactly
Been consistent.
no. But it's probably dark
Yeesh.
layers. Oh yeah, here we go. So yeah, the roper that tried to yoink Alice is, for pity's sake.
Ew.
Kind of over here. And actually this is when I switch to well, I'm just going to have to trust you guys to not use the information that I have at the moment, because actually GM layer, so there. I would like you all to very briefly look away from the screen so I can set up my board. Of course, this is all fairly hard to see anyway. Okay, there we go. In a little. There we go. Okay, so the one that you've currently got, and of course, because you've got the, so yeah, it's oh. Can you maybe not be such a pain in the ass? Yeah, so it's Alice up the front, and given your marching order, you've got Remy. I believe Froseth, I think, was next.
Yes.
Then
Then
Hazel.
Hazel in the middle.
And then myself.
Yep. I'm getting it a bit more now. This is about the best I can do for... And Barnabas. Ava. And Clarity. Yeah, and mostly you guys just hear a lot of swearing from both Alice and from Remy, who's seen this. And first has probably seen it because he can see over Remy's head fairly easily, all things considered. And yeah, so I'd like y'all to roll me some initiative. I need to, as I cleaned up again.
22.
Can you not until I'm wait
sorry,
until
sorry,
I'm
sorry.
actually ready to be hearing the numbers?
My apologies.
Okay, so that's plus dex. So that's 16. Okay, so, of course you both have the exact same, dex modifier, but since Frost is closest, I'm going to say that he goes ahead of you because you're way at the back and you don't know what's going on.
Yep. Makes sense to me.
Clarity. And same with
Remy and me, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I know your dex score is higher than hers, but
No,
you're around a corner, so
Mm-hmm. No worries.
okay. Top of the round, Froseth. Basically,
Okay.
you're seeing LSA kind of just fucking hell.
The roper on the ground or the ceiling?
Ground, that one anyway.
Ground. Okay. In case I can get to it. So yeah, if I move.
To be fair, given your height, you can get to all of them.
With my speed, I may as well go around it so I can give more room to other people.
Okay. Just sort of bump past some people, and I'm going to be both mean and not, because
Okay.
you've run literally through.
Yeah.
Let me just switch back to my GM info overlay. Oop, no. You ran through another roper. So
Oh,
it misses you.
that's good.
'Cause you were dodging between a couple of these things, and there's one from the ceiling just kind of whipped out with a tentacle and just ducked. But yeah, okay,
Right.
you're where you need to be, and
Okay. I'll attack the one that went for LSA first here.
okay, that's that one.
Where's my attack? There we go. Oh, I still had disadvantage selected.
So yes, can you please roll again?
Yeah. 25.
You still hit. Roll damage.
Okay. 9 slashing, 7 force.
Okay, so that's total of 16. So okay.
Attack number 2. 18.
That unfortunately this thing is tough. You know ropers. This thing is tough.
Yeah.
And it just you see the sparks fly as you hit a particularly rock-based part of the thing.
Okay. Then I will use bonus action for an unarmed attack. One of my gloves. Let's go with blue.
Okay.
15. So that's not going to hit either.
Ow. Okay. Clarity.
So I hear Alice yell figured that something's afoot. And I bonus action hide.
Well, you can certainly move into that little patch of shadow over here, Poink.
So
Except I will
do the stealth.
I will reveal area because you at least should know where you are.
Yeah. Natural 20 for 32.
At which point, it's like Ava's like she hears the yelling. She looks back at where Clarity is. And Clarity's gone.
Clarity has transcended time and space. Clarity has left the canon.
So I'm gonna creep forward and just sort of nudge past people and
and
get as far as I can.
Your movement's like 30 feet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. Right into the space where First is vacated.
Okay.
And
so can I see anything that's going on yet?
Given that for hiding, because you're hiding from all these guys too now. You're crouched, so even given how short Remy is, you're not seeing much. Not yet, anyway.
Okay. So, if I cast a spell on myself, does that reveal me or no?
Depends on the spell.
Blade Ward?
No, that wouldn't.
Okay. So, as my action, I'm going to... Well, it's weapon attacks. First time using it. I'm just going to... hold my action. If I see anything, I'm gonna throw a dagger at it. If not, then I'll just lose that action.
Yeah, unfortunately, you do kind of have a certain amount of block in the way. Okay, so yeah, Remy.
Remy moves to here.
Yeah, because now you're seeing the two ropers. One from on the ceiling, and one is kind of not. Okay.
Cast Hex on the first roper.
Okay.
I guess it has disadvantage on the Dex. And then she will start swinging.
Hang on. Yeah, that's ability checks, not saves. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Well, it still hits. Roll damage.
And then
Okay.
one more swing.
Tie goes to defender. You get sparks.
Okay, and she is ready to use protection when it's their turn.
Okay, noted. Ava. I mean, Clarity just vanished. There's yelling and blades hitting rock from around the corner somewhere.
I'm gonna pull out my sword, light it up, and instead of focusing on where they are, alright, they can handle that side. I'm gonna keep an eye on the other side.
Okay. Yeah,
and ready an attack if something does.
Technically, should have kept the disadvantage because you two are still
hidden. True.
No. I'm sorry. I meant Froseth and Remy.
Oh.
I'll keep it for now. But you both still should have had disadvantage because you're still in a dimly lit area. For now. That may not be the case for long. It's just Alice did not do overly well in her and yeah. Roper number 1. Eeny, meeny, miny. Why do you hate me? Yeah, this thing is... Okay, what is it? Because I know it's a multi-attack. That's 4 attacks with tendrils. And that... Well,
Remy helps with one.
Yeah, to be fair, there's 3 of you. And that luck roll just meant that it's 2 of the attacks that go for... Okay, so... Yeah, Mrs. Froseth and Remy entirely. Sorry, remind me... Yeah, so that's disadvantage on 1 attack. 1 misses Alice. So currently Alice is grappled. There is so much swearing, you have no the hell idea. Hazel.
Oh boy, there is loud. I have absolutely no idea where clarity could have gone, and I figure if it's loud, it's up front. I better go support. So I'm going to see if I can't get to, frankly, either of these spaces.
Okay, so you get to about there. You're going for here, but as you do, hate to have to tell you this.
I made a friend.
Yay.
You did. You very much did make a friend. Now, can I have my map and background thing back? Yes. Okay, so that's... yeah, you're also now kind of grappled.
Well, I can still move relatively well enough, just not enough to leave its vicinity.
I mean, it's a DC 15 escape, but it depends on whether you want to use your action to make that escape or whether you just want to do whatever you want to do.
Well, I'm gonna have a look around and see if I see the other ones. Right, the other 2. One that's pinned between Froseth and...
Make me a perception check.
Okay. 22.
Yeah, you see those 2. You see the one that's currently grappling you. And you also see the one directly behind you.
Oh, joy.
Okay. Now let me see. Guess I best do this now.
Oh shit! Hang on. Before you do a thing, because I forgot. It's 4 attacks with tendrils, use real, and 1 attack with its bite.
So it's a full multi-attack. Okay, so
Yeah,
how
but
much...
no, that's I'm not talking about you. Surprise attack is just grapple.
Ah.
It's it just has not bitten the one that it actually did a proper attack on yet. Yeah, ow, that's gonna hurt. 48 plus 4, huh? Okay, so 18, 19. Yeah, it takes a fairly extensive chunk out of Alice's hip. More swearing. So much swearing. Okay. Sorry, can continue with the action. Sorry, I just wanted to do that before I forgot.
Yep, makes sense. I'm just going to take I'm gonna upcast Spirit Guardians at 5th level
Okay.
and basically designate the party as ignorable.
Okay. Sorry, can you put the spell card up? Because I know with things like that, it's usually at start of turn, and I want to make sure that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
with
I'm
this one.
gonna. I have the clicky already going, so I'm gonna punch that and then pull up the spell card. There you go.
Wisdom saving throws, huh? Okay. Well, that's big enough for all 4 of them.
Spectral Flitties, go!
You know what the stupid part is? Their wisdom is +3.
That's just hilarious.
Their dex is not very high, and their movement speed is crap, but... So that's... The 2 that are immediately threatening you take the full 26 points of damage when it comes to their turn, I think. Effective halves in the area. Or starts its turn there, yeah. So, hang on, that's 26, so...
Oh god, and their already crap movement speed is cut in twain as well.
Mm-hmm. I'll note that down for now, and then it's 13, so... Yeah, spectral flitties are nomphing the area. Because it doesn't say anything about how much light they cast, so I'll have to leave that for the time being. Did you have a bonus action?
Alice has been chewed on a bit, but unfortunately the type of spell I cast prevents me from doing anything sans cantrip, so no.
Okay. Which is entirely fine, because what Alice is going to do is spread the wings, which it does not like that very much, and does actually let her go. Not that she can go much of anywhere, but that's her action. Her bonus action is to cast Healing Word on herself at 3rd level. So that's... Come here. Ah! My D4 landed in my slipper. Yes, which is entirely funny if you're not wearing it at the time. I don't need a caltrop in my shoe.
Yeah. Especially the metal ones. Ooh.
Thankfully, no. I don't tend to use those. They destroy my table. So
Yeah, they
that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 13. So... Look a little better. But, yeah. You guys can see they're at disadvantage. And now it's all the rest of these things' turn. So... thankfully, they now have other targets. Except they all still have 4 attacks with the tendrils, so... This is 2 through 4. We're going to have to do this one at a time. So the one... This one... goes first. Oh, come on, really? Yeah, at which point LSA being LSA and being incredibly stupid at times, does manage to kind of point Remy up against the wall, because that's kind of what her thing does, and gets yoinked by thing number 2. It's kind of disappointed that it didn't get you, so it's going to try again. And does actually manage to... Seriously? Okay, so that's roper number 2. Tendril attack 3 is going for Froseth. Misses. Froseth is good at dodging the tendril things. And now it goes to bite. Thankfully, manages not to bite LSA, because it's trying to yank her in, but there's too much light, and it's really not enjoying it very much. Okay, number 3. All 8 of these are going to go for Hazel.
Oh boy.
First one is a nat 1.
Whiff.
Nope. And it's not really close enough to bite, so... Who's going crunch?
Sorry, that's probably my chair.
Nope. Hazel is basically having tendrils whip in her general direction, and mostly having them batted aside by spectral flitties.
I'm going to emit a flitty particle field until all of these ropers melt.
And yeah, they took a significant amount of nymph damage. Froseth, it's top of the round, you've been dodging tendrils like... Wait a minute, I did miss Darvin, didn't I? Yeah, you were between Clarity and Remy. It's way back up the first time. I will remember you this time around, but for the moment I'm just gonna say you can't really see anything and you're really fucking confused.
Yeah, that's basically yeah. Did Barnabas go as well?
No, he didn't. I've got 4 ropers here. And actually I didn't even...
I'm actually more concerned about Barnabas going than me, because I figured I would hang back with Ava.
But how far does my sword light?
Not very. We'll leave it at that. But it's not really all that helpful to them. I think I see the problem. I lost your initiative and given it's not that far away from Barnabas's isn't that far from ours, so I'm gonna let Barnabas have his turn now. So basically you're seeing Ava go on guard, Clarity just vanished. Darvin's apparently also guarding, but there's an awful lot of screaming and clashing and light.
Swearing.
And light now. Lots and lots of light from over there.
Right. Actually, what Barnabas is going to do is immediately face backwards, summon the echo, and just make sure nothing sneaks up on us.
So, okay, hang on. Where is the echo getting summoned?
There.
Okay. Because that's the thing. I had a... I was pretty sure I'd picked up something that would serve as a sufficient echo for that, but I'm just going to use another U, so...
Okay.
Okay, so you're keeping an eye, and there does not... Okay, those of you who are looking, Ava, Darvin, Barnabas, make me a perception check.
With or without? Disadvantage?
You're at disadvantage. Well,
Still, okay.
yeah. Barnabas is not. You're. I mean, Barnabas is unfortunately kind of blocking what light Darwin would have at this stage.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
Thank you.
But Barnabas, if he's looking in that general direction, you're muted.
I have a face full of fur.
Yeah, because Barnabas kind of backed into you, and you're just like, okay, I see wall of. To be fair, not fur because he does wear chainmail.
Right. Okay. In which case, you back. What? I thought you said something.
I was about to say you see a wall of iron fur.
Yeah. In which case, you back up into Darwin. He turns to go to and he's just ow.
As far as you guys can tell, nothing is coming. Barnabas might want to tell Darwin to get his nose off your chainmail.
Yeah. Okay. You go find out what they're doing. I'll keep watch this way and sorry about your nose.
No problem. So yeah, I'll back up.
You back up there, and in your next round, now that I've actually got everything set up properly, we'll go for there. Okay, top of the round, Froseth.
Gonna keep hacking at that same one.
Okay.
That's a natural one.
Yeah, that one is kind of that one nearly manages to get your sword away from you. There's just tendrils, and your main thing is no back up. Okay.
Okay. Attack 2. 26.
Roll damage. Yeah, you do manage to you do manage to remove the tendril that tried to steal your sword from you. Bonus action?
Yeah. I'm gonna flurry of blows to get 2 unarmed attacks.
Okay.
It's a key point.
Ow.
Oh.
That hit something squishy. Roll damage.
Probably hit the spot the other tentacle was on.
Okay. Clarity, you're getting a better view of what's going on now. There seem to be... You remember ropers? 2 are flailing at Hazel. Well, I mean, to be fair, if you spent 5 feet of your movement, you'd have a better chance of seeing what's happening with Hazel.
Yeah.
You saw Hazel go that way. So if you use 5 feet of your movement, you see Hazel getting... I mean, you see spectral flitties everywhere. Hazel being flanked by 2 of these little fuckers. Alice being kind of grappled by 1. Remy kind of crammed into a wall, so clearly Alice did that shove over, let me take this bullshit. And Froseth behind them, kind of shaking out one of his fists, like, ow.
Which one has Alice grappled?
That one.
Okay.
It was gonna get Remy, and she wasn't having that.
Okay. Can I get advantage since I'm hidden?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to throw a dagger at the one that has Alice grappled.
Okay.
25.
Roll damage.
9 piercing for acid and sneak attack. 10.
Nice.
So that's... Yeah, you got it somewhere pretty significant.
Okay. And then
it certainly knows where you are now.
Yeah. I am no longer hidden. And I will bonus action offhand with the poison dagger.
Okay. Roll
Oops,
damage.
That was. Hold on, that should have been normal.
Yeah, that should have
I'm
been
not...
normal. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, because it's a difference between a miss and a hit, so roll again.
Yep.
It wanted you to have the 24. Roll it.
Come on. And 2 piercing, 2 poison.
Okay, so that's... Okay. Darvin.
Okay. After hearing that from Barnabas, I'll go ahead and step forward. As far forward as I can get to where I can see something of what's going on.
Well, if you kind of cram yourself against that wall there, you can peer past Clarity and see the squish pile of. Well, no, actually, you'd have to literally lean into Clarity's space, but you could do that from there to get a basic glimpse of ropers and things like that. The only way to really see what's going on from there is to step around Clarity and go into the whole situation blind.
Okay.
To let you know, the disadvantage won't stack.
Okay. But I can make out.
You can certainly see a lot of light.
Right, but I can see people, and just from
Well,
that
you
get a
can-
general idea of how they're doing. And nobody looks bad off. I probably can't see Froseth, but I can see Alice, Remy,
Yeah,
Hazel.
You can't see Hazel. She's
Okay.
The angle's bad. You can see.
Cool.
You can see. I mean, Alice didn't do a great job of healing up the chew mark in her hip, which you can about see through the various bits of tendril that have got her wrapped up at the moment. Remy doesn't seem touched, and things have only just noticed that Clarity exists.
Okay. I'm going to hold action until such time as somebody. Well, let's put it this way. I'm going to hold action until somebody takes like a significant amount of damage. In which case, then I will dive in and attack. If that can I do that?
No, because you cannot use your movement as a hold action.
Okay. All right. In that case, I'll just stay where I'm at and see what this round ends up as.
Okay. Remy. Yeah, Darvin, here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not going to let you do this round, but weren't you one of the people who got a crossbow? Didn't just about everybody get a freaking crossbow?
If so, I don't have a quickie for it.
Yeah, just because I didn't add one for you doesn't
Oh.
necessarily mean that you didn't.
Well, it's also not in my gear.
Yeah, but I would have dragged and dropped it, and if I didn't do that, but I'm pretty sure you asked for either a short bow or a crossbow. More than one of you did. And it wouldn't have been Remy, it wouldn't have been Barnabas. Hazel did.
Yeah, I have a Tinker Top
Yeah.
special, and
But
I got
Clarity
one
has one.
regular one.
yeah, but two
Yeah.
more. But after Hazel's specialty bow, 2 more of you did.
Mhm.
Hmm. And
Okay.
I got one.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
we'll leave it for this round, and we'll.
Yeah, leave it because, like I say, I would have to move forward to get in, and I don't want to go in blind. So I'm holding off to see.
What happens? Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm just remembering that and going. We'll have to flag that up because it probably got jammed into First's bag of holding, and you haven't even thought about it since because you're Darvin. Remy.
I'll
Alice,
start swinging.
yeah, go forth. Clang.
Off goes the paladin.
And then one more.
Tie goes to defender.
Oh. No, that will be it.
Can you not move Hex on a bonus action?
You can after the previous one dies.
I thought you could move it without, but okay, because you're hitting the one that doesn't have Hex on it.
Yeah, no.
Okay, just making sure you're aware. Okay, Ava, did you want to make another perception check? Because you guys seem to be guarding the rear.
Sure. Because, I mean, not much help up there at the moment. 17.
You're still not seeing or hearing much of anything. There is, however, a sense that somewhere, somehow, somebody's watching this.
Oh, boy.
Probably not what you're immediately thinking. Given you're moderately intelligent, you know there are kobolds around somewhere.
Mm.
Clearly, this is why they didn't set up traps here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Ava's got, anyway. It doesn't matter for the fight over much, but... Okay, roper number 1 is kind of sick of Furseth hitting it. And does actually manage to tendril you. And it's still got... And, of course, Clarity's also within range of this thing. Misses. 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 So that only leaves it one grappled individual to bite.
Yep.
And thankfully does not manage to do so. So yeah, you're currently grappled. You can move somewhat, but getting out of its space is not going to happen at any particular point. Barnabas! Do you want to make a perception check? Because you're looking in both directions and...
Yes.
You okay? No, you're more focused on that fight. Sounds really interesting. Oh, actually, that reminds me. Don't you need to keep rolling for your spirit guardians? Or no, does it only happen once?
No, the damage is
starts
every single time they start or turn.
Okay.
And it's the amount that it.
Yeah. So
At least
yeah.
It's either. I don't entirely understand if it's repeating the same damage or if it's re-rolled each time.
Well, let's repeat it the same one this time because we're running out of time here. Yeah, so Roper 1 is looking incredibly fucking pissed.
It's melting. It's melting.
It is very much melting, but, you know, if we'll just have to see. But yeah, Hazel, it's your turn.
Okay, Alice has been chewed on.
I mean, she's not... I mean, she's not down a terrible lot of hit points from her normal, because she did heal herself up pretty assiduously, but you know, she could probably do without it if you wanted to use your action for something else.
Well, see, there's a roper on me. What about did the other two ropers get toasted at all?
I mean, they've been a bit nomfed on, and roper number 1 looks particularly bad at this point, but the one that's currently got Froseth grappled.
All right, I'm going to look at that one and sort of point my hand at it. No, we're not in the sun directly, but we still walk in it. So, burn! And Sacred Flame it.
Okay.
Let me do the clicky and then I'll pull up the spell card. Sacred Flame.
Yeah,
it's a
you don't.
cantrip.
Yeah, you don't need to do a clicky, as it's a DC 15 Dex save. That's all I needed to know.
Yep.
Nope. Roper number 1. The tendrils let go of Froseth as this thing burns.
And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that for now.
Okay. Alice A is once again particularly pissed off at this point. So, ooh. I like it when I do that, okay?
Something just got bonked into the next existence, didn't it?
Something got nat 20'd by Alice A. That's 22.
Something's about to be so dead it's going to be pushing up daisies.
Mm-hmm.
Down here, no less, yes. Okay.
Oh, I didn't even. Nice.
Yeah, between the nat 20 and the actual success on the first one, Alice A turns this thing into mint. Largely with the help of this thing having been nomped on rather a lot by spectral flitties. So that's yeah, the remaining 2. So that means I can cross out Roper 1, Roper 3. So there, okay. Roper 3 is kind of pissed off with Hazel right now. Nope. Oop. Grappled yet again. Nope. Okay, so now it's going to bite. Manages to... You get teeth on armor. Crunch, crunch, crunch. But it doesn't actually do you any damage. Roper number 4. Not particularly happy with Alice A right now. Miss. Grapple.
Action.
Okay. Remy winds up with shield in the way to bunk. And miss. So, yeah, that's... They're not... I mean, they're looking a little dinged up by spectral flitties, but they're still going. Top of the round, Froseth.
Let's see.
I mean, Hazel's being grappled by that one.
Yeah, so I should be able to get through to here, right?
Oh yeah, boink.
Yeah. And then I'll attack that one.
Sort of parkour
That's
bounce off ceiling.
Ta-ta, front flip.
Okay. 28.
Roll damage.
21 damage.
Okay.
Attack number 2.
Roll
27.
damage. Yeah, this thing is really not looking very good, and now I'm going to roll the Hand of Fate because, yeah, you haven't quite managed to cut the tendrils off, Hazel, because you're a little worried about hitting her, but still, you know, it's looking pretty rough, like extremely. Bonus action?
I'll take an unarmed attack with my bonus action.
Okay. Ow.
Oh,
Bruises.
Yeah, what you kind of got from Alice is stop punching the fucking rock.
it worked once.
That time you hit something squishy, and I'm just like
Clarity, guys. We're running a bit behind, and we do have to be mindful of Marion.
No, I don't. I'm not working tomorrow, so don't worry.
Okay, well, okay, and I'm not either, but I still I was expecting more people to be involved in this, or I wouldn't have had 4 of these things. Clarity.
So the one next to Hazel is looking rough, but the one next
The one-
to Alice is look.
Yeah, this one, which you'd kind of have to move and be throwing past Hazel to hit, is looking unbelievably rough, and probably one more nump from the spectral flitties will finish it off. This one is still doing okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go for that last one. And I'm going to acid dagger again.
Okay. Roll damage.
21 to hit. 8 piercing, 2 acid,
Okay.
and sneak attack because it's engaged. 11.
Okay.
And then bonus action, I'm just gonna hit it again.
Okay.
I'll do poison dagger this time. 19.
Boink. It bounces off bounces off this thing, bounces off Rosa's head, and in midair just poof and lands back in your belt. Okay.
And I'm going to move aside just so that Darvin can get by.
I had a feeling it was going to be there. So yeah, Darvin. To be fair, trying to hit anything in that mess is going to be damn near impossible.
Okay.
And nobody's actually hurt badly enough to need Aura of Life.
Right. So, I'm going to step forward to there.
Okay.
Just so, and just be like, and just say, it's too crowded, but if I'll hold off, and if you need it, I'll pop it. For now, I'm going to stay put.
Darvin. 2 words. Inspiration dice.
Oh. Right, yeah, bonus action. Right. Okay, so yeah, on Hazel. Beat these things quick, because we need to get a move on. Although, not for nothing, I think your fleas might be doing the trick.
From somewhere inside of Alice's bag, which she's managed to keep untendrilled. Yay! So that's I think you're at D10 now, aren't you?
Aye.
Okay.
Oh,
Rem-
and that's, I'm sorry, but just to clarify, that's with the inspiration die, that's combat inspiration, so you can use it for damage rolls. Just, I didn't know if people knew that.
Okay, Remy.
Remy puts that hex onto this one,
Okay.
and then she starts swinging. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
God.
I'm very, very sorry to have to do this to you after some of the bullshit that you have been through already. But roll me damage. At which point, yeah, that's Alice going, ow! As the bounce, it's a bad bounce off a rocky bit that manages to gouge a fairly deep furrow in Alice's side. Although not as bad as it could be because the radiant damage is halved in her case. So
Remy tries to crouch down and thrust
That's really nice. Inspiration.
Not
That expression, I mean, it was inspired by the.
Yeah.
and you rolled such pitiful damage though. Because that's the one that's not hurt overly badly. So it's 8, 10, 12. I mean, it's looking very incredibly rough, but it's not. Ava and Barnabas, I'm just going to conflate yours because there's no way you guys are getting into that fight now.
Mhm.
Both of you roll me perception checks.
20.
Oh,
Yeah, you're both getting the impression that somebody is treating this like, well, like an arena. You can almost hear, like, to be fair, it's Ava who's making sense of occasional very quiet mutters. That's draconic and it's placing bets. There's very much a sense they're not getting involved, but it's kind of one of them seems to be going. The one with the wings is gonna kill at least one more. You're on, kind of thing. But you can discuss that after. Hazel.
So, yeah. Do the ropers go before me?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to look at the less damaged one.
No, now they're both equally damaged. I would suggest going after the one that's currently got you pinned.
Yeah, I'm gonna swivel as much as I can towards the one that's like got a tendril wrapped around either my torso or wherever. And we walk in the sun, and the sun is clearly still burning all evil. And Sacred Flame again.
Okay, and that's a dex save from the... And funnily enough, that it looks very, very, very rough, but you have not killed it.
It's melting, and I'm happy.
Okay, Alice A. number 1. Yep. Okay, so that's... Where the fuck are the rest of my dice? Here we go. And... yeah, and that one's... Rupper number 4 is gone. Point steps forward. Yeah, it only had 2 hit points left, so. Basically, Alice A turns the whole thing into combat dance again, so it really is just /1 spins into the spot between Hazel and Froseth and back swings this thing. I hate those little fuckers. Ow.
Proper touch up, or do you want me to break out the kid?
Nah, it's fine. And she uses her healing hands to at least stop the bleeding. Guys, you okay back there?
We're fine.
Never.
We're being watched. and bet on, apparently.
At which point, Alisage looks up, and while doing the bow flourish, also extends both middle fingers.
I love it. At this point, we'll probably join the others.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what they're doing or what they've got planned for us next, but we've been traveling for a little while. I'm going to suggest we take a bit of a breather before we carry on and at least have a think about what the hell it is we're going to do next if we've got... Do you know what's watching us?
Think kobolds.
Makes sense.
Wonderful.
Alisay is electing not to tell them how many of their scouts past the salt gate she killed the other day.
I'm gonna let the flitties continue emitting for the full 10 minutes.
Remy,
My sword's still going for another.
Remy grabs Alisay for a 1d6 healing light as a matter
Okay.
of principle. Oh wow!
Oh.
Oh,
Jesus,
Ah.
get in that one.
Alisay just sort of turns it into a hug.
that
you need a
works.
little healing, Elsie?
Nah, I'm okay for the time being. At least I'm not
You
bleeding.
sure?
I'm not bleeding at the moment. I'm perfectly capable of... Clearly I'm perfectly capable of swinging a sword. I'm good.
Alright.
Besides,
Remember, we still have a big fight later. We don't want to dump all of our resources into now.
No.
especially since, right now it's just a scratch.
Mm-hmm.
But I do kind of want to sit down and, evaluate the things, because some of that was near joints. So, translation, start of our next session will be short rest, basically. But for the time being, we are well past that time. Thankfully, it's fine for you North Americans, and us too, we don't need to worry about it. So, when we meet up again in 2 weeks' time, we'll see what happens next.